Oh, okay, well. Hey, y'all, hey, and welcome to another episode of Theories and Thoughts podcast with your hostess, Anya. And
Fancy.
look, I look like usually I fix that by now, but it looks like it's too far. You see all that?
No.
You don't see the little things that, oops. You don't see the little things that I see.
No. But you made me realize one thing. I'm just gonna roll with it and just get through the show. On my own end.
Oh, I'm sorry. I be,
Well,
I be noticing stuff. My bad. I be noticing. Oh, you did the same thing I did just now.
yes.
You
Cause
know,
I don't think y'all, we tried to set the timer, the countdown, but I don't think I did it correctly. I think I was supposed to have just basically did it another way. Yeah. Hey
child.
Sharona.
Who you say hello to? Hey,
Sharona.
Sharona. Sharona's brother just got married. And
Oh, congratulations.
congratulations to him, to Harold. What was I gonna say? I was having somebody else do this, but now I do it. So now it's like, let me do it. So we were trying to do a countdown so we can not be looking at y'all and looking down at our phone while we're trying to share it on our page. But hey, it is what it is. If there's anybody out there that want to take on that responsibility, hit me up at Theories and Thoughts. Hit us up at Theories and Thoughts at ladyceo.com. So fancy. What's happening? You got new business.
Yes. So I'm thinking that the name of it is Fancy Goddesses. Um, and basically it's gonna be like a holistic natural health sort of market, focused on self-care for women. And I have like it's gonna be a lot of, I feel like, what I call goddess essentials. So just things that I think a goddess will like, whether it be oils or waist beads. We're gonna have some soaps and some other things as well. So I'm also trying to see like what might interest people too. But everything is handmade by a Black person, and so I'm really excited about that.
So what? Because I just was telling somebody, I was like, yes, you're gonna have waist beads. And it was like, well, what is waist beads? And I know people tell me all the time, they're like, they're good during sex and they're good for to manage your workout or whatever. And they're fashionable, of course. But
Mhm.
what would you say are waist beads?
I agree with all of that, as well as like when you're trying to if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to gain weight, then of course they can help you kind of tell, you can kind of get a sense of that, especially depending on how they're made. Like if they're the ones that's made with the string or if they're made with the elastic type of string, these will have the elastic type of string because they're going to be already made, not made particularly for, for an individual in particular. I guess you say like a special order. But the good thing about mine is that they're gonna have gold. I just love a lot of gold stuff. I love gold products, gold jewelry. So they're gonna be really shiny. But also another benefit of waist beads, though, depending on the color and the beads, like what type of bead it is, they can have different meanings. Like my own beads that I wear are red. That symbolizes grounding, and that's why I got those. So whatever you feel like you're trying to work on in life, then you can find beads that go along with that, whose purpose is that. I'm not going to necessarily say the color, but depending on the stones. So that's a little bit more about them.
Okay. Okay. So I officially, everybody's like, I've been waiting, we've been waiting, whatever. I started a new company. Well, I started a new business. And y'all know how much I love my eyelashes. I'm always talking about my magnetic lashes and how I love them. Um, but at the time when the opportunity was presented, I honestly was like, I have too much stuff on my plate. But here recently, I let go of the wine. I went on and let go of the wine because we're not in quarantine anymore. And people gonna go to the store and get their wine when they feel like going to get their wine. And I didn't get a lot of traction. Something about me in businesses is I'm gonna throw something against the wall. If it stick, it stick. If it don't stick, it don't stick. And I just didn't see that being something that was just gonna stick.
Mm-hmm.
I let that go. But now I'm now selling lashes. So many people were asking me about the lashes anyway. And I think they wanted to buy it from me because now they're like, oh, I'm gonna buy some. And I'm like, okay. And I had one person today asking me about it. So I'm setting up my website today. Um, so I can put my picture on there and all of that. And doing some of my training and stuff so I can be better at selling it. But I can tell y'all because I'm a wearer. I can what I mean?
Right.
I'm a better person to tell you than a person that's been wearing them. I've been wearing them since November. So that lets you know I like them. I'm digging them. I love them. And I never was a lash person. That's the funny thing. I never was a lash person. I was never a person that just was like, okay, I got to make sure I put my lashes on. But I see a difference. I'm loving them. It's easy to put on. So
Well, it makes sense. And like I said, you mentioned your lashes almost every episode. You kind of something go on with them. Not nothing bad, but you just, be like, oh, my lashes, this my lashes said. So it makes sense.
I'm going to put you in some.
I don't know. I just don't think I could do that with my eye. Like, I don't know. I've had them before, and I only had them once, but they were like, it was yeah. My eyes were running. My eyes run from when we did our photo shoot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They just put a line on it, and that's all it is. You put a line and you put your lash on. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Hi, Silas.
Oh, okay.
I love you. You are so sweet and sexy. So we moguls over here, baby. Just know that. Y'all see that. Hey, BF and TZ. What's up?
I need some men products.
Listen. But I'm
telling you, BF and TZ. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I'm coming. I want the turmeric wash.
Oh.
And I think I'm gonna go ahead and finally get me a waist bead.
Okay.
Just to see.
Okay.
I already have a yoni oil that I use, so.
And I understand that. I know, like with oils, especially in a sensitive area, we tend to stick with what we know works. So That's why I'm going to be kind of selective. Well, not kind of. I'm being very selective. And I'm checking all the ingredients and everything, with whatever products that I choose. So yeah, I'm excited about it. It's definitely a different journey.
I started posting it. I said, I'm posting it like it's my business. That's what you're supposed to do with your friends' stuff. Post, share, like, talk about all of that. So your friend stuff. Anyway, we want to give a congratulations to Naomi Campbell, who is a mother at the age of 50. Here I am at 40 talking about, yeah, I don't know about all that. And little mama have a baby at 50. Whether or not she carried the baby or not, I don't know. It didn't say. She didn't say. She just said that it's the greatest gift.
It chose her, yeah.
Yeah, it chose her. I love when mothers say that, like the child chose them. I don't know if I like that. But a lot of our favorite people have had surrogates. We have Candy. We have Candy. Union. I was thinking of Kardashian. What was her name? What's her name? Kim. Had one too. But Gabrielle couldn't carry a baby. She couldn't carry a baby.
Okay. So I can't remember okay. Well, okay. I see what you're saying.
She couldn't carry a baby, so that's why she had to really get a surrogate. Candy was probably like, this new baby ain't about to mess up my body.
After she I thought they had said it was something, something pertaining to some condition that she had or something too.
It could be. It could be very well there too. And Kim as well. Kim just wasn't cute pregnant. I'm sorry. Especially well, let me preface that by saying, well, I can't preface it because I didn't already said it. But when they put her in that floral, she looked like a couch. And the memes were that she looked like a couch. She did look like a couch. They were wrong for that. They should have never did that. They're wrong.
Well, that was like one incident.
Mm-hmm. Most pregnant women are very pretty. Most pregnant women are very pretty, but here's the thing, and I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but no amount of surgery or anything can hide when your child come out, because your child gonna come out looking like you looked before you had all your surgeries. Also, when you get pregnant, ain't no way of that stuff go out the window.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of common sense though. So, but yeah. Okay.
Okay, so a judge, was it the judge or was it? I'm looking down at my notes.
Um.
I got it right here.
Okay.
Sorry, prosecutor says deputies were justified in the fatal shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. For those who don't know who Andrew Brown was, he was the guy in North Carolina. He got killed the day after
Mm-hmm.
Derek Chauvin's trial.
Yeah.
Concluded that he was guilty. He got killed while being served a warrant. He got
Right.
killed in his car, and according to the video haven't surfaced. The family said that they didn't get to. I know at first they said they didn't get to see the full video, but in this article by Kara, www.npr.org, wanted to say where I got the information from. In that article, they said that they show several stills from the video, and they show 4 body cam, but they're not releasing it to the media. They're not releasing it to the public. However, a media source that was in the courtroom actually released it on Twitter. I did not get a chance to watch it because I'm tired of looking at people die. I actually try not to watch the videos because I don't want to see anybody die. I don't watch a lot of court stuff because I don't want to see nobody die. That's just
Well,
it. I don't want to.
I didn't watch it. I haven't saw it. I didn't know that anything had been released. However, from what I read, the reason why they said that it was justified, I think, is because when they approached him, he drove off. Well, he tried to drive off, and he
Right.
was heading in the direction of an officer. So
Right.
that's kind of understandable. I mean,
Right. I seen that too. Something that and something I wanted to say in regards to this, we can't call foul when we're in the wrong.
right.
We can't find. That's just like that one girl who,
Tried to drive off.
yeah,
And
and
he
she pulled out.
tried to get back in the car and drive back off.
Yeah, that was just like that. Everybody is still on with the other young lady who got killed with the gun. People are still split on that situation. We just have to be mindful of what we're doing and where we're at. And to be honest with you, on a drug warrant, they already was in high alert that he may have weapons. It's a sad case. It's definitely a sad case, and I'm trying to gather my words. It's a sad case, and we want justice. We do want the police to stop killing us, but we have to be mindful of our actions and the things that we're doing, so we're not looked at like we're in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? We almost have to be helpless, all the way completely helpless, not defend yourself in order for it to be saw as you're not in the wrong.
Someone had, because my question is, I know that there's like, I don't know if it's in these books, but when they talk about being a sovereign citizen and things like that, I don't know if people are reading these books and that's the reason why they're getting back in their cars. Like, I keep questioning, why do they get back in the car? Like, that just seems so, but I don't really know what you're supposed to do. I know, and the reason why I say I don't really know what you're supposed to do when you're stopped by the police is because someone just kind of brought it to my attention one day that that's like something that we might should discuss, how to actually handle it when you're stopped by the police. Like, what is the actual process or the best process? Because it seems to be something more to it. But I think what kind of confuses me though is when they get back in the car. Like I said, I just wouldn't dare think to do that. Not me. I just know me, myself personally. I would probably be so afraid, regardless of whatever the situation may be. That just wouldn't be something to cross my mind, like, oh, I'm just gonna get back in my car and keep on going. But it seems like, but it seems like people like this kind of keeps happening, and I'm just wondering, like, what is going across their minds when they do that? Like, is it something that is, is there some literature out there that people have gotten their hands on that's telling them that that's okay to do to begin with? But
The thing that you said in the book. What's that?
hmm?
The sovereign citizen?
Like when you declare yourself a sovereign citizen, like you're not a citizen of the United States, so you don't have to abide by the laws. And
When you're in the United States?
basically, I think most of them are like in the Florida area, but I think they have them also like people who claim to be sovereign citizens or profess to be sovereign citizens, are in more rural type of those type of places where they can be more ducked off by themselves.
We're gonna have to. That's two topics that we need to. I'm gonna write down maybe sovereign citizen and what to do when you get stopped by the police.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Hi,
Hey, Keith.
DJ Junior. How you doing? Um, and maybe tonight we can act. I mean, because he works in he has a background in behavior.
Yeah.
Maybe he. he knows.
You never
Um,
know.
huh?
I said you never know. I mean, I guess it won't be hurt. It won't hurt to ask him about it. Because
Yeah.
I think I know I've asked this question before. When we were talking about the other woman, I was asking then, like, what is it that makes them think they could just get back in the car, though? Have you ever heard of somebody just getting back in the car and just like, and the police don't do anything?
No, but I've seen these people that you're talking about, and one girl got killed years ago in Baltimore. She got killed in Baltimore. And she was like, she called out something. And the person that was showing it to me, somebody had showed it to them, and she was like, yeah, you could tell that they knew what she was talking about, that she didn't have to obey whatever they were saying or something like that. And I was just like, I'm just trying to figure out how you in somebody else's land and you just declare. That's just like going to school and saying I ain't gotta listen to y'all rules. I don't have to listen to y'all rules, but I'm here. I
I
mean,
think they don't. I think they don't pay taxes and stuff either, but they just normally stay like kind of off the grid. The way things are set up, like maybe they don't have social security numbers or something. That would be an interesting discussion. It seems like I used to know of someone who professed to be a sovereign citizen, but I can't remember who it was at this time.
And it's mostly Black people, right?
Not necessarily. It
Oh.
seemed like, right, to me, it seemed like Caucasian people get away with claiming this more.
Really, the person that I knew was Black.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna look it up and see if we can get somebody on the show. Maybe we can get somebody on the show to explain it all to us, y'all.
Look, maybe we could get Lakeith Stansfield. You know Lakeith?
No, who that is?
From the show with Donald Glover.
He's a sovereign citizen?
If I'm not mistaken, he said he was.
Here, I write it down. I ain't know.
I don't know how Lakeith has been blowing up. That's a far stretch, but hey. But I think it was, who was it? That's when he got on the Breakfast Club, and that's kind of how I found out, if I'm not mistaken.
Girl, Lakeith is touched.
Maybe
stuff that he be doing. He touched.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of it. I'm sorry, I like Lakeith. Let me just say that. I've never heard anyone say that, use that word with me before. But I just saw it on a movie. So that's why when you said it, I'm like, is she saying this how they saying it? Okay. Okay, cool. I don't know.
Is our guest here yet?
No.
Okay.
What else is going on?
That's what I was looking
Have you heard Nicki Minaj's album?
No.
Oh.
No.
Do you listen to her? Okay.
No. You know what? Her first album came out, and her song "Woman for Life" was out when I first did pageants. When I did the pageant for the first time, and I played that song all through that whole weekend. Like I said, I can have this because it was something new. I was doing a pageant. And I
Hmm.
was like so excited. I was like, and that was just the thing. To know me is to know that I have a song for every occasion, pretty much for every person. I'm just that person. And sometimes I wake up with a song in my head and I post some. Sometimes I post it, sometimes I don't post it. But that's just me. I Any guy I've ever dated, I have a song. I don't know.
Okay.
So that was the song for the weekend. Nikki, and people going, I'm gonna say this. Did he come? He's here. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me say this real quick. This is the reason why I don't fool with Nikki. Nikki did I feel like it was satanic. She had the priest and all of that in a I want to say it was the Grammys in her performance. And after that, I just stopped fooling with Nikki. Like I was just like, that is so satanic. My faith and stuff. And I
Yeah.
know sometimes when people be disrespecting it, I can't really rock with them. And I felt like she was right. She wasn't right. Even though I'm not a Catholic, I'm a Christian. So that was
I
that
get it.
situation. So yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Right.
let's bring our guest in.
And hey,
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
he's our first Latino guest. And
Ooh. Well, I'm happy to provide flavor.
okay, so tonight we have Mr. Ortega. Is it Ortiz? Is Ortiz? I should know.
Ortiz, yeah.
Esain Ortiz. He is one of my managers, and we always talking. He has a background in behavior science, personality traits, and interpersonal communication. And what better way, let's find out about folks. So we're gonna talk about self-development tonight. Not talk about folks, but how to get ourselves together with that, with our personality traits and different things. So he's saying, why don't you I told him a little bit about you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I study behavioral science. So I am a self-help addict. So I love anything self-help, anything that can help me get out of a rut pretty much, right? So I studied behavioral science when I was in college, interpersonal, extrapersonal communications. I did early child development, teen adolescence. I'm certified to give, what do you call, psychological first aid. Um, and yeah, I love people. I love being around people. I get along with anyone and everybody. I've always been told that people just naturally gravitate to me, but come to find out, and through study and work, that it all stems from your personality traits.
Wow.
Wait, no, everybody don't like him.
Yeah.
I want to know. So, like, just in your, in your particular situation, what personality traits do you think those are? Like in particular.
So yeah, so I don't know if you guys have ever done personality like quizzes or anything that tries to like kind of like give a name to who you are or how you are.
Mhm.
There's a lot of personality work out there, like Myers-Briggs, that's a popular one, the INTJ and stuff like that, or like DISC. But the one that I focused on was Ocean, or the top, or the main five. So like your openness, so how open you are, how adventurous you are, whether you're high or low, how conscientiousness, how organized you are. Extrovertness, that's the one we all know. So introvert, extrovert, agreeableness. So how you do in teams, whether you default to yes or default to no. And then neuroticism, which is the one that most people don't like to talk about. So it's pretty much how you approach worry. And
Oh,
that's my favorite, because that one specifically for myself says a lot about somebody.
I was gonna say in the beginning, he's the person that they talk about will call when they say defund the police. Somebody's to de-escalate the situation. So when he said that, Fancy, were you about to say something?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I feel like I'm a social butterfly. A lot of people say I'm a social butterfly. When I hit the room, people want to know who I am. I have that energy, but I am okay with being by myself. Like I love to be like I have to draw back, and if I get too much in that,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, okay, I need to go. I need to go do something different. So what would you call that? That type of
Yeah, so I would classify you as an ambivert. So that person that likes to play in between introvertness and extrovertness. Even for myself, I like to label myself as the exact same thing. I love being in a crowd. I love going to social gatherings, but at the same time, I plateau. And then I also like to go home. I like to sit with my journal and write and drink a glass of wine and don't have anybody disturb me. My phone goes on do not disturb. So I like to play both sides of the spectrum.
I am as well. Okay, I mean that's me as a in a T. Like I love it. Okay, yay! And then I will put my phone on do not disturb, and I text my friends to let them know that my phone's going on do not disturb. Nothing's wrong. So when it comes to self development, what is self development?
Well, so self development for myself, I would classify as anything that you like to. Well, so, okay, so there's quadrants in your life, right? So I like to classify someone's life as a 360 experience. So whether it's your health, your health and fitness, your spirituality, money, relationships, love. Self-development can be anything that you want to achieve that you currently don't have in those quadrants. So for like, as an example, like I used to tell myself that I was never going to find somebody to be in a relationship with. And now months later, doing the work and knowing what I need to work on, right? So we struggle, or not, I don't want to say we struggle, but we go through these experiences with people, and hopefully as those experiences go, you grow, right? You learn something from the relationship before that you can put into work for the next relationship, or it's a habit that you can drop because it doesn't do you any good anymore. And so self-development in that aspect is knowing those attributes that are either hindering you or benefiting you for the next phase in your life.
Got you. I like that. That you about to say something?
Well, I'll let you finish. I just wanted to take a minute and acknowledge some of the comments that were coming in. So you can go ahead and finish.
Okay. So when within development, what is the first thing that you have to, because you just mentioned what happened in your previous relationship. So in regards to relationship,
Mhm.
because we have self-development in different things. We can want to become a better person in different aspects
Yeah.
of life, work, personal, relationship, just everything. So what would be the first thing? Because you just said something really key. You look back at other relationships that didn't work. So would that be the first thing you do when you're starting to develop? And I know the one word in self-development is self. So it's not what someone else is doing for you, it's what you're doing for yourself.
Right.
So
And I think that's part of what most people don't understand, to the point that you just made. It says self, because when somebody wants to change something in their lives, you don't think that way. Like as an example, like finances, right? So the quadrant of money. When I think of, or at least when I used to think of money, it used to be who's going to be with me to hustle to make more money versus what am I going to do to make more money. It's like, instead of going out and hunting it, I'm finding for people to get it for me, as an example, right? I know for myself, a couple years back, I was going through a phase in my life where I was so preoccupied with my weight. And so I focused on that and I zoned in on that and I lost X amount, but then I made that my story. And then for the following months, I just kept telling everybody, oh yeah, back then I used to do X, Y, and Z and I lost this amount. And then somebody finally asked me, well, what did you do since then?
oh
And it, and then it was, I was like, I nothing. I was stuck because I had made that my story and I was living in my story instead of looking back and reflecting on where I was and the direction in which I was going.
Right.
okay.
That kind of reminds me of a speech I gave. Like we can become so caught up in our stories that we aren't living in the present. So I'm glad that you kind of touched on that with that, because I think people oftentimes they don't realize that they're just staying stuck in the story because that's all that they're talking about. But
Yes.
so just I think Anya's question though was So where do you begin? So you're saying that we do begin by looking back first, but don't get caught in the looking back itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the I know one thing with and this stems to like as an aside to like goal setting. Sometimes the goal can be so intoxicating that you just forget to go after it. You forget to chase the thing you're looking for. But with any aspect of your life, if you try to do the same thing again and again, you're not going to get anywhere, right? If I want to make more money, I can't hustle and keep doing what I'm currently doing, spending the way that I'm spending, and then look at my bank account and wonder what's going on.
Right.
I have to look back and see, okay, I did this here, I did this there. Let's cut those out and see what happens next month, what happens the month after, and then keep doing it. Every win, you just build upon it until the next one, and then hopefully as you're doing that, your life's slowly transitioning and changing, and then you look back and go, oh wow, okay, these are the things I used to do. This is what I don't do now, and this is the person I'm becoming.
So you would say the next step will be the plan?
Absolutely. I think once you know what hinders you with your personality, that you're able to navigate that wave a little bit better versus than saying, I've always been this way. I don't know. My mom used to have trouble with money. She used to say, oh, this money's burning my pockets. So then I started doing that as a teenager and into my early adult years. And then understanding that, oh wait, I was living somebody else's story, and I had that burned in my brain that I didn't learn to manage that aspect myself, because it is something that I struggled with when I was younger, was my finances. But yes, absolutely, setting a goal and then figuring out how do I get there, because I think that's part of where a lot of people do struggle, is because they know that they want to live a certain life, but nobody tells you what step one is.
Right, definitely. But they don't, I don't think people know what will be the step one when to get to wherever it is. I know for myself, I sit back and I think about it, and I work with my clients with this as well. When I'm setting goals, like, okay, let's create milestones. I always say let's create milestones, because if you have this long path to go and you never have any little nuggets to celebrate, you're gonna get tired and you're gonna be like, it's taking too long, so let me do this. But you're right. Nobody can tell you what's your first step. When you to start activating that goal, you have to make that, figure that out for yourself. Because for me, people can say, oh, you need to stop eating sweets, but sometimes it's not so simple. It's so simple to say, we like to eat, but it's so simple to say, oh, just cut out eating, da da da. But what happens when you're not around? What happens when I don't have that accountability? What is going to be my driving force to make me, in reference to weight loss? What will be my accountability in different things? Do you think that personality traits have something to do with that? Or
absolutely, because here's the thing. If you know the type of person that you are with your traits, right? So I know I'm not an introvert. I'm very extroverted in the spectrum, right? I'm going to associate and facilitate myself with introverts. Wait, did I say that right?
No.
I said I'm extroverted, right? Right. I'm extroverted, right? So I'm going to gravitate towards introverts that can pull that out of me, right? So at the same time, I'm pulling something from them. See, because most relationships watered down are very transactional. And that's just a watered down version of saying it, right? I'm giving you something, you're giving me something in return. And so in perspective to your personality traits, most of my surrounding social is very introverted, because I'm already a very extroverted person. Right. So as I'm the one that's wanting to go out and do all of this, they're the ones that look me in the face and say, no, calm down. It's okay. We can stay home today. And that's okay. And we facilitate that relationship, because then at some point they're gonna want to do something. And I'm like, I know where to go. I'm the one. Let's go. Let's get it started. Right. So it's a give and take, and with every relationship to the personality traits.
I don't like introverts. I don't like to date introverts.
I think I'm probably an introvert. I oftentimes think I'm an ambivert, but to be honest, like I know I'm more of an introvert than I am an extrovert.
You are.
So yeah.
You
So I don't know. With you just blurting that out there, ma'am.
You are an introvert. I met in dating. I can't date an introvert because I be wanting to. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird little thing when I date guys that call themselves quote unquote introverts.
Well,
And
so here's the thing with relationships, right? So you know how you are, you know who you are. Like no one needs to tell you that. But then the moment you meet somebody and you're like, we just don't get along. Like I'm not feeling him, right? What you're not feeling is his personality traits because they don't mesh with who you are, who you know yourself to be, right? So sometimes, and I'm sure y'all heard it where people say opposites attract, let it work out. But then you're like, he's too outgoing, he's too social. He walks in and just talks to everybody, and I just don't want to be seen. I just want to go to my table and just be present. So most of the time, like that's what's going on is that they're not blending into your personality. And then you let people away. You push people away because you told yourself that it wasn't going to work out.
That's what I was about to ask. Because I was like, if she were to wait around, do you think that those, because like you said, it's transactional. Do you think it's possible if you wait around that you can catch on to that other person's, personality traits or their rhythm or something?
Absolutely. I think once you actually give people the opportunity to really get to know who you are, and vice versa, right? I think it winds up being a perfect a diode, a combination. I'd like to. I say time and time again, it's not anybody's job to complete you. It's their job to complement you in your completeness, right? And so that's what I feel. That's what I think and believe that would happen if you allowed yourself.
Okay, so okay, so what I'm saying is because believe it or not, I don't like men that's really, really outgoing. It's weird. And I have that bubbly personality, but sometimes I don't want somebody who is just like just louder than me. Like
you just said that about introverts just a minute ago.
I was about to say I need somebody middle of the road like I am.
And here's the best part with that, because I understand exactly where you're coming from. So as you're saying that, most introverted people will tell you when they're in a relationship, they're the most extroverted person. So with you as a very extroverted person could gravitate towards an introvert, you would probably be thinking something along the lines of something's wrong with him. He doesn't talk. What's going on? Is it me? Right? And so then as the relationship blends and starts to grow, it's like this. Because you've created a safe space for somebody who is very observant, where you just walk in, you're like, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to be me and I'm going to show up. But an introvert will walk in, read the environment, and sit back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I get that. And don't get me wrong. Don't think that I just be like, oh, I can't. It's just guys that I've dated that's introverts. Like some of them be like, I can take you or leave you. And that in itself, like I've had this one guy, he was just like, I told you I was an introvert. So we'll go a day two without talking. I'm like, where you at? You didn't want to talk to me. He was like, well, I didn't feel the need to talk to you. And I'm like, and here I am. I want to talk to you. I want to learn more about you. I want to know all these things about, and then I end up feeling bad because I'm like, well, that's just their personality. But can I deal with someone like that? Because I am good with you being in my space. Just don't talk to me right now because I'm gonna work, you work, and I can touch you. Okay, we can be on this couch and I can touch you. But I don't, sometimes I don't want to talk. But that kind of makes me feel like unwanted, undesired, undesired. And for a person like me, I like to feel desired. Maybe that's my toxic trait.
I would say that with that specific, boundaries are essential. Every relationship, once I really dove into the work and started realizing what I was capable of in relationships and all these quadrants of my life, boundaries become essential. I the person that I'm seeing now, day one, this is how I am, this is who I am. That's not changing. Like it's you can't expect me to be working and then just call you and be like, "Hey, I love you." That's not who I am. I'm never going to do that. However, do I provide other can I provide other things in the relationship besides that? Yes, absolutely. But as far as my personality, I'm never going to be something that I'm not.
Right. And that's how I feel.
Right?
And that's a part of
Right.
that.
That's number one.
Knowing who you
Mhm.
are in whatever it is, whether it's, behavior traits, whether it's self-development, whatever it is, you have to first own who you are and acknowledge that. And for me, in my self-development, in relationship wise, I have realized that I had to step out and say, no, this is who I am. Now, I can't change that person to fit what you need, but I'm okay with you walking away and saying that you're an awesome man, because it just won't work for me. But you're still great. That doesn't, neglect your greatness. And when it comes to behavior, my like I said, that may be my toxic trait. Sometimes I'm very needy. Sometimes I don't want to be bothered. The spectrum. Fancy, you got.
And that's okay because like even for myself. So I'll tell you a quick story, and it's from my early childhood. Um, every day when my mom would get home from work, she would sit in the driveway.
I do that now.
She would sit in the driveway for about an hour and she would stare into nothing. She'd just stare out. And I wondered for the longest time what she was doing. And then years later, we were sitting down having brunch and I'm like, do you remember when you would do this? And she would tell me, I am a very introverted person. And I had to mentally prepare myself to walk into a house with 3 children that are all 4 years apart. And that would pull so much for me. I had to switch from work mode to mommy mode, but my personality couldn't change. Like I'm still the same person, but I had to adjust because I go from being in the office all day to being around 3 people, 4 with my father right next to me.
That sounds like me. I mean, honestly, when my children were younger and I didn't know much about being an introvert, excuse me. So I just knew that, I don't know, I always felt drained, so I realized that, and I have to sit like to myself, even before we do this podcast or just, whatever, before I have about to do anything, I have to take a minute and just kind of sit with myself. And sometimes I call it recharging. Sometimes I guess you say like it's kind of shifting modes, but I totally get that though. I understand your mom there.
My mom.
Absolutely. No, it's recharging your batteries because you don't know how you have to prepare for what you're about to do.
Right.
So there's people have rituals that they do every morning. That's a form of a ritual to prepare you for what you're about to walk in that you don't know what direction it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
See, my mom being an introvert. Go ahead.
I was saying, you were saying.
Oh,
your mom's an introvert.
My mom's an introvert. And so it was weird because even now my aunt be like, she don't answer the phone. She don't do this. She don't do that. And there's times when I go to New Orleans and I may not see her because and I had to learn it because people will be like, and then if you have people in your ear, they'll be like, you're your mom's only child and she don't want to see you in this. And I'm like, I have to understand who my mother is. And this is not personal to me.
Mm-hmm.
She loves me. She just don't have the capacity because my mom drives the bus. So maybe she just don't have the capacity to deal with a extrovert child who's gonna be up here, Mom, what's this? Mom, because that's how I am. And I'm going through her stuff, I'm taking stuff. She's like, girl, you come here and shop. I go in her closet, Mom, can I have this? Mom, and sometimes she just don't. And my aunt, she's like, well, she should talk more and she should do. I said, you want her to be who you want her to be when that's not her. She wants to be in her own space. And I think the older and older I get, and with therapy, because therapy really helped me in that point to just let her be who she is and stop being sad about who she is and not take it so personal. But I try to tell my aunt and my stepdad, I'm like, that's just who she is. I told my aunt, you've been on her 60-something years and she ain't never changed, but you want her to change. She ain't going to change.
Yep.
You've been on her this long and she just want. But people want you to change and they want. But something I wanted to dive into real quick, because I know it's self-development, but part of that is I also said knowing who you are. And in knowing who I am, I've always been loud. See, my father is an extrovert. My dad, he hears through me. I think I'm loud. Baby, you can hear him a mile away when he wasn't sick. Before he got sick, y'all know my father's sick. But before he was sick, baby, hey, how y'all doing? Like he just was this person. Hey, you his niece, you his nephew, that's just who my father was. And maybe that's where I get from calling everybody niece. Everybody a member of my family, that's my baby or something. Well, that's my baby, that's New Orleans. But so I had to become comfortable in my own traits and the things that I have and what I provide, because there's people who have told me, there's a person that told me, and I didn't take that much offense to it, but they were like, you're smart. Like, you're really smart. And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, because they sat down and held a conversation with me. Because when you first meet me, I am, hey, how you doing? Da, 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 da. I walk through the store and just like, good morning. Hey, baby, how you doing? Hey, boo. But people take that as ignorance when that's just me having a lively spirit. And that's a part of my behavior. And when I used to try to tone down who I am, it made me very uncomfortable. I was still who I was, but I felt like something was wrong.
Yes. Yeah, and that's part of God, who said it? I think Benjamin Franklin said comparison is the death of all joy, or something along those lines. Because like you mentioned, like you walk in and you're high-fiving, saying hi to everybody, but then the other people don't do that, and so the comparison begins. And so just as somebody's looking at you saying, why can't I be like that? You could be looking at them going, maybe I should calm down a little bit more, because I'm not like, there's no reaction or there is a reaction, but it's not the kind that you're putting out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be true. I don't ask why, I don't think, I'm about to be 40. I don't care. This is who I am. You're going to take this or you're going to leave it. But I have people now who may have not before, and they're like, hey, boo, like, it's like they wait. They were waiting for me to walk up so they can say, hey, boo. Like,
because you opened the door.
Right. And I made it comfortable.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Right. Yes. So, and that was my point to the earlier comment about relationships, about being, when it's opposites, you can open the door to create a safe space for somebody to be themselves, because most introverts are, not that they aren't themselves, but that when they walk into a space, they're looking for safety. They're looking for words that they recognize. They're looking for motions, body language that's familiar. That's why when you can go to a party, the mall, and you can pinpoint exactly where all the introverts are, because they gravitate to each other and they don't say a thing.
Yeah, I know I'm guilty.
We have a lot of Keith has been holding court in the comments. You want to share some of his comments, Fancy?
Well, I know at one point he was saying at the end of the day, you're training him to be himself. I think this is when you all were talking about dating. But he look, Keith had so many comments. Yeah. He was saying reflection can keep you from going forward, but he also spoke. He agreed on something you all were saying about breaking generational curses. I was trying to remember when that was.
That was when he was talking about speaking about the money burning his hands.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And also he was just saying, take it or leave it, set the tone as to what you were just saying, Anya. So
Okay.
thank you, Keith, for watching.
Yes, and thank you for commenting.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So anybody have any questions in the comments or anything? Nancy, you have anything? Because you know I can talk.
No.
Well, so I do want to say one thing that you had mentioned earlier in reference to family, because you did the comparison about your father. So my father is a very introverted person, and here's where your personality traits and knowing not only who you are but how you are, very, very, very important, because it sets the tone for how you navigate relationships, whether it's family, romance, friendships. I used to believe that that me and my father could never get along because I was who I was, very out loud, and he's very sit in the corner, sit in my recliner, don't talk to me. Very introverted, very extroverted. And I used to think all throughout my teen, adolescence, early adulthood, something's wrong, something's missing. Why do I sit at having dinner with my father and he doesn't say a word to me? But then through the work and facilitating a dialogue with him, I learned that's who he is. I'm never going to get a full-blown conversation out of him.
Right.
I'm never going to get him to say, I love you, because I naturally will say that. Like in reference to it being out loud, some people don't say that. And it's not because that they don't have love for you. It's because they weren't raised to say it so freely. And so I learned that about my father, and that just brought the relationship so much closer.
My mom told me that I taught her love. Just like you taught me how, you taught me love, you taught me that. Like I said, I don't know how my dad is extrovert, honey. He ain't the Amber one that you called me. He was an extrovert. And my mom, she's just so into herself, and I'm gonna do this. And she has her thoughts on different things. But it took me again to recognize this is who she is. Either I'm going to keep allowing that to hurt me, or I'm going to live with the fact that this is who she is not bad. It's just not what I want her to be. And I'm wrong for wanting her to be any different than who the hell she is.
Yes, absolutely. And I believe once you learn how to navigate your own personality traits, right, I'm able to then identify, because once you're able to identify yours, you're most certainly able to pinpoint other people's. And so for you, as an example, I can, from knowing you now, I know how to give you feedback, how to give you recognition, how to have that tough conversation, and certain words to say and not to say to facilitate better behavior. Once you learn those personality traits, you're able to then have a more meaningful relationship, because then you know that person on a certain level that others people don't or won't.
Yeah. Because I do anything for you. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I literally say that, I'm not about to do that. And he'd be like, oh, yes, you are. And I'm like, you knew I was going to do it anyway. We have fun, but work is done.
And I think that's part of too, like giving people the opportunities, because like I would be remiss if I didn't say that there's some people that I interact with that where before even thinking, I'm like, nope, I don't want anything to do with you. And then I identify certain attributes and behaviors and traits, and then I think, okay, I spoke too soon. Let me give you a shot.
So there are people, because like you said, you feel their traits. There are people that I'm just like, honey, you haven't figured out who you are, and you driving me nuts. And there's people that I just be like, I can't do this with you. I'm not doing this with you. Like I can't deal with their personality traits. Although I try to work with it, and I do. I mean, I have to in different situations, but it is so hard to deal with someone who has, for me, I'm an empath. So if you always negative and you have this negative drawn on you, it's going to draw me down. And I don't like feeling down and out and negative and all the rest of that stuff. just because you feel like being that every day, all day. You don't want no change. So
Yes.
anything else on self-development? Because we didn't talk about behavior. We should have put that as a topic, behavior traits. But
Well,
what?
self development is it. Like I mentioned when we first started the conversation, it could be anything in any quadrant of your life that you're trying to develop or be better at, right? Um, give me an example of something that you're currently working on.
I am working on, one of the biggest things is organization with my businesses and with my time and different things I have going on, because that's the hardest thing. I work full time, I work part time, I have my business, we had a podcast, we had a talk show. I'm just all over the place, and sometimes I'm just tired. So it is creating those boundaries. That's one of the things I had to learn. Create boundaries. So my phone automatically goes on do not disturb at a certain time. And I have therapy, and I have my massage. So those things are self-care for me. And sometimes just finding things to help me be a better woman, like experience some things so when I'm out of work mode, if that makes sense. So that's something that I'm working on.
I know for myself, like my self development is being more like generosity is what I'm currently working on, where I dive into, like, if I ask you to do something, right? So let's talk about business for just a split second. I ask you to do something and it doesn't get done. So before I dive into my anger, I'm going to find out, A, what happened, what's going on, do you need help, did I give you the proper tools, before I jump in and go, why didn't X, Y, and Z get done? So that's something that I'm currently working on. And by working on that, every day I try to get up in the morning and think of things that I'm grateful for, because it stems to my generosity and gratitude. Therefore, I'm able to then go out into the world and be grateful for things, be humble, and not dive into that anger.
Gotcha. So that's that self-development. First, well, I guess what we said reflecting was the first thing, but the first thing is acknowledging that there's an issue, something to be worked on, huh?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, that's a whole lot of joke. First step is admitting you have a problem.
Yeah. First step is admitting that there's an issue there.
Well,
Second
well,
step is
so
reflecting how I got there.
Maybe I'm on the fence with that one, because a lot of the times, like when you bring it back to, let's say, like, I know for myself, when I used to be working on like my weight that I had mentioned earlier, I would do all these things and I'd be like, okay, nothing's changing, nothing's happening. I'm working out, I'm eating the meals, but nothing's changing. I'm looking at myself and I can't see it. And then I dive into what I was eating, how often I was eating out, what I was drinking, who I was drinking with, and starting and looking into it and identifying all the things that aren't really benefiting me, even though I think they are, cutting them out slowly but surely, so then I can transition into the next thing. So I part of it is looking at not only how far you've come, but where you want to go and what's keeping you from getting there. And then looking back and looking at your story and saying, I was here and I was stuck here because of X, Y, and Z. And I was able to transition into my last phase because I removed these obstacles. Now, what do I need to remove right now to get me to where I need to be now?
I like that. And as well as I know I like to do that myself. When you start looking into things and really asking yourself those questions, really evaluating, I guess you'd say, the situation in full, then it makes more sense. And yeah, so I kind of agree with you there.
I do too. Well, is there anything that we did not touch on that you would like to touch on, or any final remarks?
Oh, there's just so much. There's so much to go over. I the majority of like what I really want people to know is that if there's a relationship in your life in which you wish was better, because that's actually what led me into that trajectory in my high school years up into university, was that relationship with my father where I always felt like something was off. If you have a relationship that's not where you want it to be or need it to be, try to identify those things in yourself of what you think could potentially be the cause of why that relationship's not working, and then try to identify the things that person's doing in which it's not working, and really try to blend in and have a dialogue versus I know, like for myself, before, like me and my father would get into like screaming fights or something along those lines, and then like you would catch me being, you just don't understand, like in the heat of the moment, but that's not the place for somebody to understand. That's not the time for somebody to understand.
Right.
It's when you really facilitate the dialogue and have the conversation and say, hey, let's talk about this. That's what I want people. That's what I want them, like the most out of people, is if you can identify your personality traits, you're able to then know who you are, but then know how to show up for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, me and Fancy get along. She's an introvert. But I feel like we give each other something. Like, cause she is
For
that
sure.
grounding force. Okay, I'm gonna sit down and be still today. But yeah, so thank you for joining us. Did you
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
emails or no? You didn't send me no social media, no nothing. So how can people find you?
I can be found on every social media platform: Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just Esain, ESAIN _ Ortiz, ORTIZ.
Oh, underscore. I'm sorry. Ortiz. How do you spell Ortiz again?
ORTIZ.
ORTIZ. Oh,
Yeah.
Ortiz. Okay.
Because if he had sent it to us, we'd have had it already in the on the clock. Yeah, I would
Okay, guys.
I
So that they can see that.
I'll be fussing at him. Thank you so much. As always, you know, you're one of my favorite people. That's my eating buddy. We'd be like, what we eating today?
See, and that's part of it. That's part of it too. Like earlier, you mentioned the accountability. I have accountability partners in my life that'll hold me up when I need it. When I need that, you are not one of them when it comes to eating.
No, I've been like, well, I thought you was dieting this week. I mean, how was I supposed to know you're eating real food today? We're gonna have to get that together, honey. Yes, we're gonna get that together, and we're gonna start eating correctly. But as for now, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Girl, we be eating. The other day, I just texted him. I said, "How you gonna tell me you hungry and I order pizza and you gone? Here now, I gotta eat the whole pizza by myself. I ain't gonna never lose no weight."
Pizza sounds so good now.
Huh?
Hey, Brandy. I said pizza sounds so good now that you done mentioned it. Why did you do that?
And Keith, I see that. I'm gonna contact you. Send me an email at arnya@ladyceo.com. Maybe I can get you on listening party. Because I'm about to start back up a listening party. Keith, baby, he gave us a whole lot. Priorities, create organization. And he said, love y'all. Anywho, back, let me get us up out of here. You can find me on Linktree. You can find all my things, including the lashes, on my Linktree. Linktree /LadyCEO. My email is arnya@ladyceo. If you ever want to submit anything as a topic or be a guest, contact us at theories and thoughts at
LadyCEO.com.
I'm on Clubhouse now, but y'all don't follow me because I don't know what I'm doing yet. Let me see what my name is on here though. Oh, lady.ceo. That's my because it's on Androids now. If y'all
Oh,
didn't
it is. I was meaning to ask you when you told me that the other morning because we didn't stay on in no time though. That's what you called to tell me. But I was meaning to ask you that. Okay, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It didn't take that long. Okay, well, you guys can find me on all platforms as Fancy Swagger, and my link tree is Fancy Thoughts. That's with an S on Fancy and the word Thoughts. And yeah, I am Fancy Swagger on Clubhouse. I don't really be on there as much as late though. But now that Anya in there, I might start being on there though. So we'll see.
I just so how you gonna tell me to shoot you an email when I told you shoot me an email? Oh, shoot you my email address in your inbox. Sorry, I got it now.
Oh, it was but I had it on the screen though too, Keith. If you could have saw it. I could just put it back up. It's at the end right here, ornyaladyceo.com.
Yeah, that's my email. And yeah, Fancy and I are gonna do something in Clubhouse because she's been waiting on me to get to Clubhouse. And maybe we can put something together on Clubhouse. I have to see how I like Clubhouse first. It might be just too much stimulus. That's what I always say is I didn't have too much stimulus for the day. I can't take it. Because after the podcast, sometimes I have to sit and be still. And that's what I always say. I be like, I gotta just be quiet. I need a quiet moment. I need, just a moment to myself. I do that in the car. Like I could be on social media, going through social media, but I don't feel like talking. And there's times that I'm like, I don't feel like talking. And I'll tell you, I don't feel like talking right now. I just need to be quiet. And some people get it, some people don't. That goes back to being, that's that introvert side. I don't like it too much talking. And he said, so anything, somebody go be the 400 Sunday.
Oh, right.
My birthday's coming up. My birthday's Sunday. I'll be 40. I'm celebrating my birthday. I leave for Cabo on Friday. I come back on Monday. So I'll be here for the podcast. I kept trying to figure out why didn't I do longer in Cabo. One is my dad's sick and I'm his power of attorney. Second is, I want to be back for the podcast. But I probably could have did the podcast from there, but still no. And plus, I didn't want to be gone too long. That's just me. I don't want to be gone. It's only so long I'm gonna be able to be out. I'm gonna be out there. Thank you, Key. All right. Anything else, Fancy?
Nope, that's it. Y'all have a good night. Peace and blessings.